Forrest Gump. The movie was filmed in 1994 and released July 6th of 1994. The producers are Steve Tisch, Wendy Finerman, and Steve Starkey. A little bit about Forrest Gump. It displays a character from Greenbow, Alabama, who had to overcome many disabilities as his legs were very weak, and he had to pretty much have braces put on his legs to be able to try and walk. And then it shows him overcoming that by running down a dirt road in a cut scene, and him coming out of overcoming that disability and being able to run when many people said that he wouldn't, and people laughed and made fun of him and things like that. He played for the infamous Bear Bryant at the University of Alabama, who was a powerhouse program in college football back in those times, to joining the Army and serving in the Vietnam War, to another cut scene where he's meeting the president, to falling in love with Jenny, his childhood sweetheart, and having a little boy towards the end of the movie. I think the producer did a really great job on the cut scene, especially whenever he's playing for Alabama in football, and it shows him running towards the sideline, and then they're all pointing to run the other way because he was so fast. I thought the producer did a pretty good job at showing that cut scene right there at that point, and the angles, and getting that many people in the crowd and making it, you feel like you're at a live football game. So I thought that the producer and the way he filmed that, and the scenes and the sounds and things of that nature were pretty fantastic. The aesthetics and the characteristics of the movie Forrest Gump, all of the aesthetics are pretty appealing whenever you first start the movie, from the growing up out in the country and the little, perfect white house on a farm, and just the whole style and country way of life, especially back in those times when times were a lot more simpler than they are now. I just felt like the producer really got that down-home feel for the movie. And one scene that really aesthetically was just amazing to me was the war scene during the Vietnam War, when they were getting blown up and Forrest kept running back and picking up his fellow comrades and trying to get them to a safe place. And I thought it was, pretty realistic, because I was in the military at one point, and I deployed, and I've been over. I wasn't at Vietnam, but it's, getting blown up by a bomb or a booby trap like happened a lot to them in Vietnam is kind of the same scenario. So that scene really stuck out to me, and push you to make you feel something during that scene. Just a real sense of pride about, being from America and being American. The characteristics of the movie are flexible, trusting. The trusting part comes from, Jenny always trusting in Forrest, and Forrest trusting in Jenny that she's going to be the best person that she can be, and the trust between Bubba and Forrest is probably one of the biggest bonds that there was in the whole movie. Very, very cooperative, a lot of forgiving. Jenny does Forrest wrong a lot of times in a couple different scenes, and I felt like she was looking out for him, didn't want him falling into her negative lifestyle that she was living in. Soft-hearted at the same time of Forrest and his mama's relationship, and very tolerant. I feel like it was tolerant because Forrest had to put up with, Lieutenant Dan being not a very nice guy most of the time, and, really being pessimistic about life, and everything was wrong. And I felt like Forrest tolerated a lot of stuff from him, so that's where I got the characteristics from. Acting, directing, and cinematography. I thought the acting was phenomenal by Tom Hanks. Just to play, a slightly, for better lack of terms, mentally kind of slower guy. I feel that when he played that character with a slight disorder, mentally, that would be very hard to portray, and I just feel that the producers were probably, just astonished watching him act that character out. The directing, as I said before, was great by the directors. The scenes, the sounds, the cut scenes, and their overall writing of the movie. Like I said, I feel as it makes you feel something in a lot of scenes, and I feel like there's a bunch of life lessons you could learn from this movie that you could actually take into your life if need be. I feel like the movie portrays you never know how much time you got on Earth, so you make the most of it while you can, and I feel like everybody can take that into their life. The cinematography was exceptional. The general compositions of a lot of scenes I thought were great, like especially the war scenes. That's what done it for me, because I can relate so much. The angles they used to show the bombs going off, the gunfire. I've been in it, and it brought back memories and things like that. So just phenomenal scenes. The choice of cameras for being in the mid-90s was just great, especially compared to, imagine if they filmed the movie now, the cameras they had then were just not as, I would imagine, not as good as the ones that there are now. And so they had less to film this movie with, and you feel like you're right there in a lot of scenes. Like I said, the football scene, the on the school bus scene when he goes to sit down next to Jenny. I feel like a lot of kids have been there and relived that in their life. And the integration of special effects were immaculate for the most part. The history that is portrayed in this movie is pretty exceptional. It takes you through a lot of things that went on in our history of the United States, from the Ku Klux Klan days and them, trying to push upon people what they believe in, to not mix races in schools, and to keep African Americans from having equal rights, and to the Vietnam War and how treacherous that was for those that served in that, and then how they come home and it seemed like they had no support behind them from their own country, and they felt like they were just betrayed, and things of that nature, to the assassination of JFK and the anti-war demonstrations that were bestowed upon them when they come back from being deployed. Just the throwing stuff at them, calling them baby killers, treating them as if they were the enemy. The Watergate scandal showed just a snippet of that in the movie. The landing on the moon, and then also it showed the outbreak of AIDS disease when it appeared in the U.S., and the birth of pretty much technology, computers and things of that nature. The personality of the main characters. I felt as if Forrest was the protagonist of the movie, because he was always the positive one, help somebody out, the caring, respectful, and and loving to all people, especially the ones that he loved the most. Jenny, I felt like she was the backbone for Forrest. It's, I feel like it's who he was chasing throughout the whole movie, was trying to get back to Jenny and find her and protect her. And so I feel as if she was believe it or not, the backbone of Forrest to keep him going, keep his feet moving. I liked how the producers kind of set that up. It wasn't like she was just the backbone, just right there in your face, but as you watch the movie, you could kind of see as if he was always trying to get back to her. I feel that she was very caring because she always wanted to keep Forrest away from the bad that she was involved in and doing. Bubba, his best friend, he was very humble, down-to-earth character who's best friends with Forrest and always loved to help him. Just a really, really good guy, and you hate to see what happened to him in the movie. Mrs. Gump, Forrest's mother, like most mothers, very caring, lovable, trustworthy, and loyalty was the biggest one of all, because she's going to be loyal to her son just like most mothers will be. She would go to extreme measures to make him feel as if he was normal. When the one scene that stuck out to me that was when she wanted him to go to school with the normal kids and be at the normal level, and what she had to sacrifice and do, which I felt was very wrong and disrespectful to a woman, but that just goes to show you how much she cared about his education and him being looked upon and treated as an equal. Lieutenant Dan was very angry, demanding, stressed, kind of arrogant. I felt as if he was just disrespectful to Forrest in the whole movie. The producers writing that made a perfect character, because everybody else is pretty loving and humble, and you always got to have the bad guy in the movie. So he kind of balanced things out just by himself. But other than that, great 5 characters, main characters of a movie. The ending of the film, as the feather flutters away in the last scene, the feather also lets us know that life isn't fair. Forrest Gump was born slow and had to wear leg braces and treated as not equal as his peers. Showed Jenny's life wasn't fair. Father sexually abused her as a child, which colored her whole life, which probably made her long for the attention of a man and get involved in a lot of bad extracurricular activities. So that kind of shaped her whole life. And with Lieutenant Dan, it broke the family tradition of dying in war he aspired to uphold when he didn't die in battle. And that was another example of showing you life just ain't fair and it don't go how you always want it to. But, to never give up on what you believe in and where you think you're going. And I thought that feather flying away in the wind at the end was just a perfect depiction and ending to a movie to really let you know what the background meaning to the movie was if you didn't realize it throughout watching it. So I applaud the whole staff, the producers, and everybody that made this movie and come up with that scene, because it really, really made the whole movie at the end. My references, these were just a few. A lot of it was just kind of me trying to incorporate what we learned in the chapters and just from my point of view and my perspective of what I thought about the producers and how they use different things from our chapters to make the movie, such as the cut scenes, the cinematography, the sound, the angles, the cameras, the lights, the characters, and the writing of the story. And so, I mean, I used a few references here to kind of get some background information because when I looked up the history, I didn't even realize. I had to look back on it and check out really how much history was depicted in this movie. And so these references were really for a lot of that. But these are the three that I used. And for the last thing would be I just really enjoyed this movie, and I've seen it 100 times in my life so far. I've only been here for a short time on Earth, but I'll definitely be watching this and recommend it to anybody. And this is I'm glad you put this one on the list.